Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome back to Astro Colony with Lone Debater 7. And today we're going to be taking a look at some of the stuff I've done since last time, and then we're going to be looking at flying over to a new planetoid and attaching it to our space station. So without further ado, let's take a look. So last time we built this automated motherboard manufactory to supply our space science, so I went ahead and adjusted a couple of things. So first things first, the intent I decided for this is to be able to build computers and motherboards, right? So in order to facilitate that, I decided that we should double up our manufacturer count from 5 to 10. So we now have 10 manufacturers. I have split it a little bit and we'll go through that real quick. Um, but basically, we doubled the manufacturers. Our advanced constructors, we enabled the making of gold plate. Our manufacturers, we have gold wire being produced as well in these, so we can make computers ultimately in our advanced constructors over here once we unlock the technology for them, which we can go ahead and do right now, and we can kind of show you. So it takes, in order to get computers unlocked, it's its own tech. It's right here. 15 basic, 12 engineering, and 2 space science. As you can see in the upper right of our tech tree, we've got quite a bit of science, so no worries. We're going to get computers. We could basically, we probably could get almost every tech in the tree right now with this much science, but we're going to go through it slowly just so we can kind of walk through everything. I think we'll do this type of, like the organic and dirt and stone processing stuff. We'll do that in a future episode. I am just going to grab colony origin. I don't think this really has a utility quite yet, so I don't know what that does. We'll maybe look at it later. I'm going to grab spacecraft for 12 science, space science specifically. This is a vehicle that you can build, I believe, so that's pretty cool. I think that's good enough for now. I mean, we could do navigation, I suppose. That's tempting. Maybe we'll do it navigation. So we need to get advanced engines, which is 22 engineering science and 12 space science. And then for navigation itself, we need 6 basic, 6 engineering, and 3 space. So there we go. We got navigation unlocked and all the requisites. So we need to make some computers in order to build this control panel. We have the autopilot function now set up. I'll show you why that is cool once we get some computers. So first things first, let's enable the computer recipe right here. So the motherboards and gold wire that are built up can go ahead and start making us computers. I just want to show off one other thing. So on this portion of the base, I expanded it out widthwise. I did end up moving the dock out, so this is further out now. I needed the width back here, so it's fine, no worries. But this is now set up. I've also done the belting, so we have 3, 4, 5 additional inputs that we can put in, and we've got our 2 outputs going through the dock already set up, and we've got another 2 outputs that we can utilize. They just can't go through this specific dock. We could stick another dock right next to it and dock 2 of them, and then we can use, or we could, I mean, we're not really piping things out from this side, so we could just switch this to an additional 2 lines out right here and just pump those if we need to. I don't know if we're going to need to do that. So anyway, guys, let's go back to talking about what we were talking about. So how are we making computers with this? How did we adjust our system? So let's start on the tail end because it's the most easy to understand. So on the tail end here, got our primary export, which is this conveyor joint. This takes, I just noticed something. I need to put a blocker right here to block computers, because we don't want computers going back into, like, this computer should not be going into a constructor. We'll grab it at the end after we show this off. So anyway, basically the idea is this is going to take computers and motherboards, put it in the cargo box over there, which then puts it in our cargo box on the main station. That takes our planetoid production lines. So we should get computers on our space station right over there in that box. We'll go check that out in a minute. There's one right now. So that'll eventually end up in that box. It takes a little while because these tubes are slow. Anyway, half of the computers, so not computers, half of the motherboards are being split from being sent to the cargo box for space science and being pumped back into the system, into our constructor line, with the copper wire and the gold wire that we're making out of these manufacturers to make our computers. So this filter here pushes all of our gold wire into this point. The motherboards feed in. So we have gold wire and motherboards being passed through this tube to be fed into our constructors. And then we've got copper wire on its own pusher filter block that is sending it through this tube to also be supplied to the constructors. The reason why I did this, when I was setting this up initially, I had all the manufacturers running all the recipes and was just supplying stuff. What I found out, or what appeared to be happening, or what did happen, I guess, is all of the basically only copper wire was being made. Like we'd get one motherboard every 20 minutes. Not even. That's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it was bad. Basically, this whole belt was copper wire. All these manufacturers had like 300 copper wire. This had a couple hundred copper wire. That had 1,000 copper wire, and all of these were backed up with all the other components. So we basically had way too much copper wire being made and not enough of the other stuff, so we couldn't actually export the products we're trying to make at end time. So meaning the motherboards and the computers. So I adjusted this. So we left the original five that we had built, making motherboards and copper wire. So only these 5 manufacturers are making copper wire. These ones are not making copper wire. So the 5 new ones that we built are not making copper wire. They're simply making motherboards, and they're also making golden wire. Now this one's also making golden wire. So we have 10 manufacturers making gold wire and motherboards, and 5 manufacturers out of those 10 are also making copper wire. Now, the way we set this up is we're utilizing this little bit of logistics here. So basically, everything that's coming through our constructors, so our gold plate, our copper plate, and our electronic parts are all coming through on this belt. Also, our computers are coming through on this belt, so we have to handle that. That's dealt with. Are computers coming through on this belt? They shouldn't be. Oh, this is probably trickle from before we had the blocker in place. That's fine. Or no, they do come out this belt because computers are made in the constructor. So let's look at that. Computers come down this belt. They should be flowing right here. I need to put another blocker right there for computers. There we go. Okay. My mistake. So there are some computers in this part of the system that should not be there. Let's just grab those real quick. They might actually export out since they're not an object that should be in there. Yeah, it looks like they did. So that's actually fine. But we don't ultimately want computers on this belt. So catchy. This is why going back through the system after you build it, good call. Anyway, let's take a look back here. So initially, these constructors are making copper plate and gold plate. So this splitter is splitting all of the exports of our constructors 50-50, so half go into these 5, half go into these 5. Now we have this with blockers to prevent the computers going into these. We also have it so copper plate is not passed through this portion of the system into the back 5 of our 10 manufacturers. So that's what this blocker is doing with copper plate, is making sure that only these 5 are getting copper plate and these 5 do not, so we don't have to worry about making copper wire or dealing with copper plate over there. Got a pusher, which is just sending our computers up into here and pushing that into the box. I believe it connects into the same primary pipe that is moving our motherboards and computers, so it should end up in the same place, but that's what that's doing. So that's handling the output of our computers from our constructors. This portion of the split, the 50-50 split that we did up there, is taking our electronic parts and our gold plates, so half of those 2 items coming around here, and then is feeding our back 5 manufacturers, which make gold wire and motherboards. Then we get copper wire, gold wire, motherboards on this primary feed belt, handled back here like we showed. Coming to our constructor input, we've got our copper and gold ingots coming through this transport tube, I just have a splitter doing a 2-to-1, so 2 into the system, 1 going into the box, so we still gather some copper, some gold out of this, and this is mining gold and copper in an even split, so I believe we've got 4 gold, 4 copper. I probably will expand the gathering, so like I might fill in this portion right here and make a bunch more miners, because I think that will make this a little bit better as far as how fast it produces stuff is concerned. Anyway, not a big deal. We'll look at that later, and I'll probably do it off cam because it's boring, but I'll show it to you. Anyway, we've got our splitters going down through here, and yeah, that's basically how this works. We get our ingots pumping in through here, so copper and gold is put into our constructors to make copper gold plate. That is then passed through our manufacturers to make copper gold wire, which is then passed through to make electronic parts and computers. Once the electronic parts go through the manufacturing one more time to come back and make motherboards, to then come back to make computers. So that's how that works. We've got this split, so this is our input point for all of the copper wire that's being made by our manufacturers, coming in through this one conveyor, or this junction point, this conveyor joint, and is then split between all of our advanced constructors. We've got our motherboards and gold wire coming through this conveyor joint and being split through our constructors. Initially, I had it running through the same port, but like I explained earlier, all I was getting was copper wire and copper plate, so I made that switch, and it seems to have rectified itself now. Anyway, the other thing that we did, besides leveling out all this terrain used to be this tall. Now it's flat. I did that to improve the efficiency of the mining robots, because they don't have to path and go up and down as much. I also expanded out our aluminum production, so I added these 9. I think I added 9, or maybe it was 8. I think I added 8 new mines, all gathering aluminum to just pass through. This system, I did add on a couple more smelters in order to handle the influx of aluminum, or to handle the new increase in aluminum production. And that's just mainly because we were lacking on aluminum, and we're splitting it here. I added this aluminum split, so half of our aluminum is being sent into our labs, half of our aluminum is being sent over here to this advanced constructor and is being made into aluminum plate. And we've got a stockpile of aluminum up here inside this constructor. What I should do is maybe put a little bit in this box. Let's see, how could I do that easily? If I put it in right there, that would actually work just fine. So, we will do that. It's worth doing this because I don't want to run out of all of our aluminum. Actually, this is not where that needs to be. This feeds back in, so I can just pass it right here, actually. Why make it complicated? You don't need to. Okay. Logic blocks. I need to split. We're going to split the aluminum plate that we're making in half again, so half of our aluminum ultimately ends up inside of our storage box. I am just going to split off half of this aluminum right now and throw it in the box. So we've got some on hand. Whoops, I actually want that 80 hydrogen. Okay, there we go. That's everything that I've done since last episode. So you're caught up. Sorry that took a while. If you made it through that, be sure to check out the rest of the series. It's down in the playlist. I've tagged the card in the first minute of the video. We're going to grab our 69 computers. Noise. We actually don't need to grab them. We can just leave them in there. We got 70 now. Perfect. Let's go ahead and place down navigation. So we've got all of our engines set up. Yeah. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Autopilot's inactive. In order to get autopilot, keep space station movement direction and maximize thrusters usage. So basically the autopilot with the navigation console will fly you to planetoids that you mark. So let's build this thing. Go to devices. Let's see. Right here, control panels. Remotely control all thrusters and find optimal flight direction. Sounds pretty legit, right? We're going to put that... Let's see. I kind of want to build up a little platform, actually. So let's do that real quick. We got the materials. It's not a big deal. We've got a staircase. We don't have a staircase right there. There should be a staircase right there. Put a staircase right there. Then I think what we'll do... So that's all glass. Yeah, we'll staircase up right here. We're just going to go little ways. I just want to get some verticality so I can see above the station. Kind of like if you were building a real lookout point, it would be towards the top of the what you call it. Oh, whoops. Did not mean to do that. There we go. We'll do something like that. And then I will use glass. Now, the thing is, I have to be able to bring up a vertical support. I do like these columns, so we'll stick with that. Just fly down here. Yeah, that actually works fine. I'm good with that. Let's grab this color. Because then it's like, okay, if we do a 3, I think we can still fit through that. Maybe not. You know what? Let's just do it this way. What we can put right here is an oxygen barrier with the solar panel. So we have oxygen up here when we come to pilot our ship. You know, you don't want to be oxygen deprived when you're flying a spaceship, you know what I mean? So there we go. Now we've got an oxygen bubble up here at the top of our station. We'll just expand this part out. That'll work. Let me do something like this. Okay. Now, delete those two. We're going to grab glass. Oh, I need to delete out this portion of the floor. Yeah, we'll just leave it with the one border. Something like that. It actually probably needs to go a little bit bigger now that I'm looking at it. That, for whatever reason, that control panel is quite large. So we will bring this up another little bit. And actually, maybe what we'll do is something kind of like this. Yeah, that kind of works. Okay. Now, sorry, I wanted to make it look decent before I put in the control panel. But there we go. We'll throw down our control panel. We'll put it like... I think we will just put it in the glass. Why not? There we go. Control panel. Boom. So, navigation velocity. Up, down, thrusters, 6, 6. So, oh, okay. Interesting. So, I found on the map, we'll just show this off because we're going to fly to a new planetoid before we wrap things up. So, Elru Obuo. Yeah, I probably butchered the name. My bad. But it has almost 70,000 titanium. It also has 100,000 copper and almost 90,000 carbon on it with a little bit of iron. This thing has a ton of resources, primarily titanium. We don't have titanium yet. So the goal is let's fly to this planetoid, grab some titanium. And yeah, so we're going to utilize this fancy-dancy control panel and head off and gather some titanium. Makes it a lot easier to control the thrusters. Like, I don't have to go through and hit apply. I can just, you know, drag this little wheel and fly where I want to fly. Just pretty cool. Now, I am moving over. I do primarily want to be in front of it because the plan is to try to attach this new large planetoid to the rest of our large planetoids behind us. That's how I want to set it up. If I can situate it so I can dock it um, to the ice planetoid that we have, that would be best, I think. Just because that's where our primary feed into the rest of the station is. So that's kind of what I want to do. It may take some finagling, and that's fine. We'll deal with it. But yeah, anyway. I guess the other thing we could do is upgrade our engines. We did unlock the new engines, huh? Can we build those? Let's just look. Yeah, we could build those. They're not that expensive. We'll maybe build those. I'll probably do that in between episodes. Or, well, we're flying over there. Let's just stop flying for a minute. Let's go build them. Let's just delete this thing out. I don't know how big these are, so let's kind of find out together, I guess. Shall we? So, we're going to take these plasma thrusters. Oh, wow. These things are chunky. That's fine, though. I actually kind of like this. So, we're going to go... I think we're going to split our banks like this. So, we'll have... Staircase comes there. So, if we go one out, put one there, one there, one there, there. And we're going to have this set this direction. And you know what? We have the resources, so we're just going to build 6 each direction. How much do each of these take power? What? 15 power? Wow. Okay. We're going to have to extend power as well. That's fine. We have a ton of gold wire in our storage box now because we added all that gold and gold plate last time when we ran out. So we should be able to expand the power sufficiently. Still, it's this is going to be quite a bit of power to get this thing working. I know I don't really need to do this. It's just more of an aesthetic thing. So let's connect these. Lol. Yeah, we need another 52 power. That's nuts. We had, like, we're almost at 400 power on this thing. Like, that's crazy. I guess that's not that big. If we were to, you know, beeline for uranium and nuclear power, it wouldn't even be a thing, but I don't want to deal with that right now. If I'm honest, don't want to deal with it. We have to find a good planetoid for it. I was looking, there isn't a super large uranium deposit on any of the planetoids next to us. I think the biggest one is maybe like 10,000, somewhere in that neighborhood, which is probably sufficient. I mean, that's quite a bit. But on the other hand, if I'm going to fly to a large planetoid and take the time of A, flying over there, and B, connecting it to my station, I want to not have to fly to another one for the same resource again. That's the idea anyway. So, like, the one we're going to, it has copper. I'm not really that excited about the copper. I'm excited about the titanium, because 70k titanium should be more than enough to do what we need to finish out this playthrough. You use titanium primarily for metal frames, is kind of what it looked like from what I could see. It might be used for other things, I don't actually know. But you turn it into rods, and then, yeah, those rods make frames. So, okay, we just beefed up our engine substantially. We've got 6 plasma thrusters facing this direction, and 6 facing this direction. I think, according to the control panel, that's east and west. So we have 6 in each direction. Oh, only 4 out of the 6? Why? Which ones did not get connected? These ones did not get connected. My mistake. Dang it. 6 power? We need 6 more power. Okay. We're going to cheek some power. Meaning I'm going to put some on the ends of this. Because, you know what? You're taking up such a large footprint of the station. You can contribute some power, please, and thank you. Okay. Now we should be alright. Yeah, just barely. Oh my gosh. That's nuts. Okay, now we should have 6 and 6. We have 6 and 6, 6 west, 6 east. Perfect. Let's go back to our place. Yeah, this is so much faster. Oh my gosh. Alright, cool. We're moving in closer. That's perfect. Exactly what we want. So this is the X direction. That's actually perfect. That's the way we need to go primarily. We need a little bit of Y, which appears to be the direction towards the planetoid. I don't want to get so close that we overlap, but let's just fly past a little bit, something like that, and so we're getting close. If I look this way, I can see it a lot better. Still need to go a little bit more. Okay. South. Need to go down. Alright, let's go check that. Still a little ways, so we need to go southwest. When you're trying to move two really giant objects like this, it's not super easy to gauge the distances, unfortunately. Mostly west. Mostly south. Where's that at? Okay, we need to go east. So we overshot just a little bit, but it looks like we've got the depth correct. Hit east. Let's go down. Glitch. Meaning a little bit of latency. When you move really fast, you get latency because of the asteroids that spawn in. But yeah, that's fine. Let that process for a minute. Okay, we need to go touch closer south, touch east. That should be pretty good. Should be pretty good. I think we need to close the gap a little bit in order to actually dock to it, but we can get over here. So this one has trees and stuff on it. Cool. We can get some lumber. Large rocks. Interesting. So this one's a little bit different kind of style. This is probably quartz right here. So that's good. Lots of quartz. Let's just give it a quick scan with the C. So loads of titanium, loads of copper, loads of carbon. So we can set up a pretty nice mining facility out here, I believe. And I think what we'll do is we'll probably build it out so it makes us the metal frames on site. And like, there is a little bit of iron that we could potentially mine from the planetoid surface. But I think what the better option is we just build some auto asteroid catchers out there and set them to target iron asteroids, and then we just handle the overflow by passing it through with the output. We've done that before. That's what this is doing, basically. So I think I will do that again. Okay, we need to get this a little bit closer. So it's not east, we need to go south. Now, kind of like want it right there. How is that? Is that close? Not close enough. I think I've got the east-west good. It's just not south. I just don't really want them to slam into each other because that will probably crash my game and I'll have to reload. But so I could put it right here on this one and just feed it in. I guess we could do that, and that's fine. I really want it connected to this one, though, is the only thing. Now, this one does have a small planetoid with iron on it, it looks like. Yeah, iron. So we could clean that out, I guess. Not too big of a deal. But where I want the thing is like right here. So I guess we could make that work. To just have a connection point like right here on the other one. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. We just have to branch this out past the edge of our Pippa Prime. So, okay. Kind of know what we need to do. Let's do it. So we're just going to make this reasonably wide. Okay, that's as far out as it wants to go on drag. That's A-okay. So this is still quite far away from our, main base, but that's just life. It really is. Like, that's nature of the beast, unfortunately. Let's go ahead and drag off, like, kind of want to break this tree. I think I'm going to break this tree. Just so I can see a little better. I'm going to break these trees. Okay, there we go. So, level that. Place. No more dirt. Lol. So that one is right there. This one like that. Let's see if it'll actually dock like this. I mean, in theory, it is, sufficiently close. Put it on the side. Will you dock? No. Okay. So we need to go a little bit further east. Just a little bit, not a lot. Probably good enough. Putting those on actually made it a lot easier to line that up. So pro tip, put on your docks first. I guess we could have brought this in way, way, way closer. So we could actually do that now. Sure. So the way you do this, because we'll rebuild the floor. Like, I'm not worried about having that chill as, only usable floor for a while. But you just kind of shorten it, put the dock back down, break the dock, shorten it, put the dock back down. That's probably as close as they can get, though. I mean, we can maybe go like 3 or 4 tiles closer. Like that. I think is going to be as close as we can get without doing terrain clash with our other planetoid right there. Yeah, we could maybe shorten it more, but that's good enough. Good enough. We'll call it good enough for now. So there we go. We got our planetoid. I am just going to unmarker it from the thing. This looks crazy right now because they all overlap. Anyway, no worries. So that's basically how you automate computer production. So we showed off how to automate computer production, or how we did it, the system fully built. We showed off the upgraded engine, so plasma thrusters, how the control panel and autopilot works, and we showed off docking a titanium-based planetoid called Elru Obuab. Sure, that's what we're going with. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the episode and stayed to the end, I really appreciate your viewership. Thank you so much. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment if you have any questions or want to see something specific. And until next time, this has been Lone Debater 7. We will see ya.